had broken trust, or we've had people let us down, and so we begin to grow seeds of doubt, and not being able to trust anybody, always doubting everybody and everything that goes on in our life, not even sure. But we know who we are in Christ. We are His special people. And that's the stance that God wants us to stand in. We know who we are. We know who we serve. We have an awesome Father who wants to take care of everything for us. And that's where God says, you know who you are in me. Walk in that. Walk in that truth. But we live in a world. We live in a world that, things just happen and things come up, and it takes us sometimes a little off. And so God's, He's trying to say, let's just try to come and bring this all back into perspective. And so He draws us more onto Him, to trust Him more. And we have to do our part as well, right? We need to spend time with God, hear Him. What is He trying to say? Pour out our alabaster jars. Amen. Here it is, God. I don't even know what's in it, but you do. And so I'm going to give it all to you today. Do we take time out to do that? Do we really take the time to humble ourselves and bring ourselves to a place where, God, I just don't know what to do with me anymore. Can you take over? Right? Because it's too tiring trying to be me. Me doing me all by myself is too tiring, God.
Preach it.
Right? And that's what God wants us to be. He wants us to be like Mary. To sit at His feet. And I picture Mary, and this is, these are some of the things that I was talking with God, and even in the seasons where He has us purposefully, He has us also to experience Him. And when He talked to me about the alabaster jar, and I pictured Mary, and I said, wow, she was with Jesus. I mean, literally with Jesus. And she got to experience Him at a level that was so, wow, it was so overwhelming. I pictured her as she was on her face at Jesus' feet, and her tears are rolling down, and she's kissing His feet, and she's wiping her tears with her hair on His feet, and then I feel like I can literally feel Jesus' hand touch her face and raise it up just so softly to look up at Him. And there's just such a gentleness in His face as He looks at Mary. And there's just such a love that's coming through His eyes that it's just so powerful and so intense that it locks Mary to His face. And this was a season. This was a season where Mary was, she had gone through things. She was going to get stoned, but in the midst of all of that, she was able to just be Jesus and, feel His hand on her face. Look into His eyes and just be lost in that. And it didn't matter what was going on around her. She had men in that house that were saying, what is she doing? For one thing, she wasn't even supposed to be there. I think we've learned from many people that have taught us that back in those days, no women was allowed to be in a room full of men, especially, elders and high priests and those sorts. But she didn't care. We had people who were saying, what is she doing? She could have sold that and given money to the poor. It was just all those things, just like us in our circumstances, in the situations that we might even be struggling with right now. And I feel like maybe we need to take those circumstances and we need to break that jar of circumstance, pour it out to God, and be like Mary. Allow Him to touch our face. Allow Him to lift our heads and our faces to Him and to lock eyes and gazes with Him and be in that. And I feel like a lot of times for me, that's where God wanted me to be in. I was thinking about my present circumstance now where I'm unemployed, and in the beginning I thought, before school ended, I thought, okay, here's the plan, because it was a routine. Every end of the year I already knew, because I work with a special needs child. He had ESY, extended school year, so she was automatically for summer school. No ands, ifs, or buts. So I was already like, okay, school year's gone, I'm just going to do 2 weeks vacation and jump right back in, right? Okay, so I go through the next motions, I get my memo, I get my assignment. Okay, ready to do this. I go back to work. And I shared with all of you that, just the day before, hours before I was supposed to report to work, I get called and say not to report. And even in the midst of that, I was like, okay, God, I don't understand this, but your word says to trust in you, lean not in my own understanding, and acknowledge you in all of my ways, and you will make my path straight. So, Father, I'm just going to give this to you, because I can't make heads or tails of it. Literally, Donna can attest to this, that in the school system, once you get your memo, once you get your assignment, that's like a done deal. It's solid. You're going to work. And so that was scary for me, because I was like, oh dear, what am I going to do now? So I already started to start moving off. And it's like, oh dear, bills need to be paid, rent needs to be paid, my food, Lord and I are going to be home. More power, more water, more food. So, I was really starting to, and I was like, wait a minute. God's still in this. God's still in this. I had to really look at, I was like, okay, God, I'm really struggling here to go back into this place of stillness with you and knowing that you are God. Just because I know that you are my Jehovah Jireh, and you're my provider. So it doesn't matter that I don't have a job. And that was a struggle. That was a struggle. And so as I kept moving forward, the seasons began to change. The season that I was in, wasn't until I saw the season was changing. I didn't look at it that way at the time. I see it now after spending a lot of time with God last night. But it was a season where God was not only refining, that was the first word that popped in my head, because God was talking to us about that, right? But it was also a season of showing me his character. And I thought that was profound, because here I was so selfish. It's all about me. Okay, God, what are you doing with me today? What's changing in me, God? What are you going to do for me today, God? Intercession 101, number 35, it's not all about me. So God was reminding me. But even in the process of those things in this season, there was a part I had to play. I had to be still. I had to listen for that still small voice. I had to be pressing into prayer. I had to step into the things that God called me to do, whether it be like this now, being in the church and preaching, or whatever it is. I had to do my part. I love Jesus, so I got to obey him. And so these were the things. These were the things in my season that I was having to walk through. But all in all, even in that season, God was still doing something. I may not have been seeing it. I may not have wanted to be seeing it, because I was too self-absorbed with myself and my present circumstances. Okay, God, got no gas, got no money. I don't know what to do about that. Oh, well, Lord. And then I'll start doing, my head will start doing these things. Well, maybe if I go check this account, maybe miraculously some money will. It was that self-reliance, that thing of, I can, I'm thinking that I'm God now, and I can make things happen on my own.
Help us, Lord.
But it's not anything I did intentionally. It was just something that my present circumstance put me in a place of, a little scary. But even all through that, and even now, I go to God and I say, okay, Lord, should I go and apply for a part-time job, just to carry me through the rest of the summer, and so on and so forth. And, fast forwarding it to now, it's like God was showing me that purposely, in this season he put me in, it was more to show me who he was. That he was my Father, and he was going to care for me. He was going to provide the roof over my head. He was going to provide the food. He was going to provide the power and the water I needed. Because that's what fathers do, right? Fathers take care of their families. They provide for their families. And then he also showed me his character of a husband. I'm your husband in this season. We'll spend time together. We'll, grow more in the love we have for each other. We'll talk more intimately with each other. And then he was my teacher. He started teaching me things like the alabaster jar and, what love is and more into the deeper of that. It's like I felt like I graduated from high school and I'm going to college now in my spiritual walk. Because it's a different level. And God says, no more just going in and deep. Let's step up. And I said, oh wow, that's like I'm going to college. Woo. I'm a college student in the spirit. You know, but see, these were God's characteristics that he wanted to show me. He wanted to show me his character and his attribute of love in the season. Where I'm single, I'm alone, but I'm not alone, that kind of thing. And he was, he was loving me. And then that caring attribute where I never go hungry, I never run out of gas, because only by the grace of God and his power that all these things are provided. And those were some of the things. And these were the things for me presently in this season I am in. So it's for me, it's my question to you is, what is your circumstance today? What is your situation? You know, what are the things God's might be saying to you in it? Are we stopping to even ask God, what is the purpose in it? Because you know God, you know that characteristic of God that he never wastes anything, that he uses all things for good. All things. All things. You know? So even those things, and I mean, even like yesterday, I found myself praying for Donna when, she got locked out of her house, and God showed me this, vision of her sitting on a bench in like a botanical garden, and everything's just kind of a little bit overgrown and just, kind of growing all over her. And I was like, Lord, what would you have her be doing while she's sitting there? Impress that on her, Lord. While you have her in this time where she really can't do anything. She's locked out of her house and, she's kind of not sure where she's going. Use that. And God did. God did. He spoke to Donna. He probably spoke to her about things that she didn't even remember, that she may have been going through. They may have been from seasons past that God was saying, okay, let's talk about this. What are the situations? What are the circumstances? What are things that you're going through right now that you could stop and ask God, what's this all about, God? What's the purpose for this? Because I know you're a God of purpose. You have a purpose for everything. Let's step out of ourselves and say, what about me? Why is this happening to me again? Why am I going through this again? Let's step out of that me concept and step into the God concept. Because that's where we need to be. We need to humble ourselves. We need to humble ourselves and pray and say, God, what is this I have to do here? Do I have to crack open that alabaster jar and just spill it out? Or do you want to take it in your hand and pour it out slowly so that you can show me? Because sometimes we want to ask God to show us, right? Or how do we see that? And God is a communicating God. He'll speak to us in so many ways. We just need to stop sometimes and look at what he's trying to say or what he's trying to do. And this leads into the bigger message that God had.